See, when you talk about it like that, that gives me perspective, right? And it gives me the tools to help people, right? Are you willing to listen and understand like the core issue behind it? Right. It's a mindset thing. It's not a cold volume. I'll tell you why. Right now we have the record. And the record holder is I think Aslam for most leads in one day, right? Which is 18 leads in one day. Right? That's the record. In order to get 18 leads in one day, right? And by the way, it's not a record for the sake of the record. It's a record that has a very large monetary value on it. And it's like $100 for breaking the record and $50 for being top performer. And if you do it week over week as top performer, so you make a salary on top of a salary, your life gets infinitely better. So there's that. But at the same time, how do you think the person who got 18 leads in one day, how many calls do you think they took? Right. So let's call it 800, right? What is the difference between you taking 800 calls? Let's assume that you're taking 800 calls and they taking 800 calls. So when you say, I talked to 10 people back to back who are not interested, and that makes me question the reason for my existence and brings you down, and you feel like, yeah, I'm not getting anything today. What do you think the conversion rate on lists is? Like per 1,000 calls or per 100 calls? Let's call it per 100 calls. What do you think the conversion rate is? It's actually like half a call, half a lead out of 100. Like that's the average, right? 0.5% conversion rate, average. Right, so you got to take 200 calls on average, 200 calls to get a lead. On average, some days it's three leads out of the first 300 calls, and sometimes it's one lead out of 400. Right, but it averages out to 1 per 200. That means that 199 people will tell you no. Yeah, and one is yes, but let's focus on the 199 people who will tell you no. They will tell you no because you're asking them to tell if they want to sell their house. How many people want to sell their house? How many people want to sell their house? None. I guarantee that most of you have 0 people in your lives who are willing to sell their house. It's a very big decision. It's not like sell your phone or sell your car or sell, a piece of furniture. It's your entire house. That means moving, that means different schools, that means, other costs, that means a lot of things. And so it's very, very, very normal for people to not want to sell their house. Yes, it's a different culture, but it's still the same thing. If you sell your house in America, you'll have to move. So you'll have to find a different neighborhood. You'll have a different school district. You have to think about your job, your commute, your family, your friends, your neighbors. It's the same thing. We're still humans after all. Let me get my whole point across. They're still humans, and it is still, because they're a big country, because they're 350 million people, it's easier for them, like it's easier for you to say that the real estate market is big there, right? Because there's 350 million people, so there's more of them there. And so there's a lot of give and take. But at the same time, if somebody is not interested in selling their house, it is the natural state of things, the normal state of things, right? So because of that, when somebody says, no, I'm not interested in selling my house, absolutely. Good for you, man. Have a great day, right? Because you're normal. What I'm looking for is the abnormal. Is the not normal, the not regular thing, which is you want to sell your house or you want to sell your property, whatever kind of property it is. We're looking for the abnormal. We're looking for the exception, right? We're not looking for the standard thing of, yeah, absolutely, I want to sell my house. And then when you find somebody who doesn't want to sell their house, you're like, you weirdo. How come you don't want to sell your house, right? It's not like that. It's the other way around. It's like, you weirdo. Why do you want to sell your house, right? That's the actual thing to think about when you're calling these people, is that you're looking for the abnormal. You're looking for the exception to the rule. You're looking for the rare thing that has a lot of value on it. If everybody wanted to sell their house, real estate value would be bottom. Nobody would work in real estate because there's no money to be made there. Right? If something becomes abundant, its value comes down. It's just how the world works, right? Because we're looking for the valuable thing, we're looking for the abnormal thing. It's harder to get. And because it's hard to get, there's more value on it. If it's easy to get a lead, right? If it's like you make a call, yeah, I want to sell, of course. You think you get paid what you're being paid? I'm not saying like you get paid millions, but do you think this job will have this salary? Right? Okay, customer service, for example. Think about what you're being paid versus customer service, which anybody with a, anybody who can speak can do. Right? Because there's not as much value on what you do on customer service as what you do on lead generation. Right? Because customer service, people are coming to you with problems, you solve them, that's it. There's a certain value on it. Right? So that's something to think about now. Right? When people tell you no, I'm not interested, you should feel like, yeah, that's normal. Okay. Have a great day, man. Happy holidays. Right? And move on to the next. The next person says, no, I'm not interested. Yeah, what else is new? Right? We're not interested. When we collect lists, right? When we pull lists and skip trace them, do we pull them on, there is not a checkbox for interest, right? We pull them on criteria that makes them more likely to sell, right? So long ownership, for example, you've owned the house for 5+ years or 10+ years. That makes you more likely to move because you might be looking to like you've paid it off, you're looking to upscale or downsize or whatever. If you're older, that means you want to move to a smaller house. So we look for years of ownership. We look for areas that are being gentrified. We're looking for areas that are more likely to, like there's changes going on in those areas, right? Market-wise and all that. Right? So we look for signs that make people more likely to sell than not, right? But there is no checkbox for, yes, I'm interested. Otherwise, again, value will go down. Right? So what we do is hard. There's no disputing that. What you guys do is very difficult, right? And it takes a special kind of somebody, right? Not everybody can do what you guys do, right? And I envy you for your patience. But at the same time, you got to understand that once you realize reality, right, that we're looking for something that's very abnormal, that's very rare, and has a lot of value, right? It makes sense for you to get a lot of rejection, tons of rejection, because again, you're not selling. Because if you were selling, then I would say, it's up to your, method and how you convince people to buy. But you're doing the harder thing, which is, you're asking people if they want to sell. So you're completely at their mercy. No, I'm not interested in selling. Well, have a great day. I'm not going to convince you to sell your house, right? But if you're on the verge, if you're, thinking about it, all that stuff, realize, please, that you're a stranger. They don't know you. And they get hundreds of calls like you. So what makes you so special? Right? What's the difference between you and everybody else that called them? You're a cold caller just like 100 cold callers that called them today. What's the difference? It's how you pitch, how you build rapport, how you come across.